And back with a vengeance they are. Welcome back to the Whatever Buddy podcast. Johnny here in the seventh person, and man, Harris is coming in hot today. That's just one of the many things to happen on today's episode. That's episode 31 to you. And not only that, we have a guest today. That's right, LeVon Webb, singer from The Knives and associate producer from the show The Masked Singer. So grab a surfboard, some hot wax, you should always do a trim, a pina colada, and enjoy the show. So with no further ado, Ryan and Johnny.
Are you having an issue, or are you being dramatic?
I'm just being dramatic because that's what I do.
That's what I do. You want me to get dramatic, dude? Because I'm annoyed.
Are you annoyed by the hat that I'm wearing? Having a bad hair day.
A little bit.
Yeah, I never wear hats.
Yeah, you look different, man. Yeah, you look different. I don't care if you.
I feel like
look different.
We're so not used to seeing me like this. We got to go.
Yeah.
Look how bad my hair is. I'm like Throwball guy. I had to wear a ponytail this morning, so that's why my hair's and my hat. And there you go. Look at that. All right, now tell me. You came
Actually
in.
Made me a little bit happier.
Yeah,
you made me a little bit happier right there.
You have something to say,
dude.
What are you going to say?
These phones, man. Did you do that latest update? Because that latest update,
That's really messed me up. I didn't even realize
invasive.
I did. I didn't realize I did it. It did it while I was sleeping because I was plugged in. And I woke up the next day and my phone was turned around upside down. I literally, like my Safari, the bar was on the bottom. I didn't know what to do.
I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't believe that humans are that organized and any of that crap. But I do this update. Here's what made me think of this. All right, so I'll be clear. I'm listening to music the other day, and my mom came over, and I turned the music off, but I have my AirPods in, and then I get a text message, and Siri reads me the text message, which I was like, well, that's new, because she never did that before. But it's okay. I didn't really care, you know? It's like, she'll read my text. I don't have to pick my phone up. That's all right. But then I'm talking to my mom, and Siri's like, would you like to reply with, yes, that would be okay, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Wait. So she's listening to your mom ask you questions?
So Siri reads me my text, which, cool, thanks. I'm talking to my mom. And as I'm talking to my mom, Siri thinks I'm talking to her to reply to the text, which I'm not.
Who was the text from?
It doesn't matter who the text was from. What matters is that I was talking to my mom, and Siri thinks that I'm talking to her to reply. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just bad timing.
Okay. So, fast forward.
You want to punch
Mom
me?
leaves. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just trying to get... Here's what happens. I have my few points in my head that I want to get out, and you're very good at pinballing around. So if I get pinballed around, next thing you know, we're going to be talking about your hat again, you know? But so my mom leaves. I put my music back on. I get another text message. And what does Siri do? Siri pulls the volume of my music down and reads the text message to me. All right. Little annoying. Fast forward. I won't make this a long story. Don't worry. Fast forward. I get another text message. It pulls the volume of my music down again. This time, I go, shut up. And she stopped reading the text. So, first of all, thank you for having that feature that you could say, shut up, and Siri will stop talking to you. But, like, I don't know. That annoyed me. And then yesterday, got a lot of friends, do a lot of texting. So yesterday, I'm texting somebody, and someone says some good news, and I type congratulations, and I send it. And after I send congratulations, which I know what you're thinking, that's all I wanted to send. Siri decides she's going to accompany my congratulatory text with confetti. So you look at the text conversation, you write congratulations, and confetti comes down.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
That's been happening for a while, though.
I never noticed it. That's not my style. I don't want anything to do with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Am I overreacting?
Welcome back to the Whatever Buddy podcast. Ryan Harris is definitely overreacting.
Simple yes or no question. Simple yes or no question, Johnny.
Yes,
Am I overreacting?
Yes. Do you want to say hello to the people now? Do you want to say hello to the people? We need to say hello. Hello,
hey,
people.
Guys.
Hi.
Hey guys, do you feel invaded upon with that new update like I do? If you do, send like, follow, subscribe, comment. You know, if you feel like it's
whatever. Buddy Wednesday is back, Ryan Harris, and I'll tell you, in between our podcast, I did the update, not meaning to, like I had just mentioned. I don't like the new update because it does feel like I got a whole new phone. The Siri
it's
stuff,
weird.
It's weird. I don't, I never looked at it as an intrusive. Like, I think the thing with you and getting the text, it's like if Siri was answering if your mom asked you a question and your Siri in your headphones picked up your mom's question and says, well, do you want me to answer her? That would be intrusive and creepy. But the fact that you got a text at the same time that you were talking to moms, that, it's just, do you want to reply? I don't see what's intrusive.
Well, and then too,
trying
like,
to save you the hassle of pulling your phone out of your pocket.
You know how you have to go into your privacy settings and be like, I don't want my microphone to listen to me when I'm on Instagram or I don't, that kind of thing.
Your microphone listens to you on Instagram?
Your microphone listens to things that you say, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're on Amazon. I'm talking to you. I say, Johnny, I'm interested in vintage rings. And then the next thing you know, you're on Amazon and you're getting ads for vintage rings because the microphone heard you say that. Now, I know that, and I know that it's annoying, so I turn that feature off. But when you do the update, it just resets all those features. So it's like, well, what else is
it doesn't
what else is out there? What else is in my phone that
I don't even know. It's like downloading music. You just do it along the way. Oh, I better turn that off. You just do shit along the way. Huh.
Here's the thing. I'll be loyal to a company. I like Apple. I really like the product, but they're getting annoying. I don't want to have to get a new phone every 2 years. I don't want to have to get a new computer every 3 years because your updates, you think that I need a new device. I take care of my shit, My phone's in good shape. You've seen me. You've hung out with me. I don't even use a phone case. I raw dog it.
You don't use a phone case. I give you.
I don't have a phone case because
nowadays,
it's a waste of money.
Dude, I got to say something. It's funny. It's funny you say that because the reality is, just the other day, I got out of my car and like anybody would break their phone. It always happens. You had your phone on your lap. You got out of the car. Boom! It falls on the ground. It breaks. Now they've made the glass so good. I took notice of this, that they made the glass so good that I dropped my phone like a motherfucker the other day. Like it was a bad one. I'm like, dude, if that's not broken, I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, it's not broken. I'm amazed. Just like that, right?
Yeah.
So you, though, with the new phones, you're protected with this protective glass. Now, see, Ryan Harris, he's old school. He's what you call an OG here because he, pound that out, pal, he has been doing this since the iPhone 3. So, how many have you broken without a case?
0.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You're so OCD. You're like,
I mean, knock on wood. I've had a couple close calls. Calls.
I gotta tell you something. I've taken a jump into a world that I've never taken a jump into before, and I don't know if I'm going to stay there. But it's a good insurance plan to have.
You going back to the hat?
Well, no. We ditched the hat. I'm going with the bad hair day. Like I have like this weird like flat. It's like almost Waldo like. It's like it's slicked down in the center and then puffy on the sides. Let me fix that. You mentioned Amazon. It made me think I got a delivery. Now, I got a delivery. It wasn't from Amazon. It was from Vic Firth. Remember a couple of episodes ago, you looked at my hand. You're like, what? Or maybe it was last week. You're like, what's all over? It was last week. What's all over your hands? And I had all the Band-Aids because my hands were
Band-Aids,
shredded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the mail yesterday, sent from Vic Firth. God bless him. My first pair of drum gloves.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to have to give you a little shit.
Ahead. I've opened the door. I'm going to have to give you a little shit. I've opened the door.
Yeah.
I've opened the door.
I don't care. I completely understand why you would do it. Okay, so you ordered them, or did they just send them to you?
No, I reached out and said that I needed sticks and gloves, so they sent them out.
All right.
Dude, you know why? You know what it was?
Because you gave drummers that wear gloves shit for a lot of years.
I still do, and I'll be one of those guys. I'll have to give myself shit, but here's what it comes down to. Well, you want to see something funny? I should pull this video up.
You don't have to explain it to me.
No,
it makes sense. You don't want your hands to be all cut up.
Talk about something that's amazing. Bobby Blotzer, the drummer of Rat, I just watched an interview with him from it's a recent interview. He's sitting in his living room doing the interview, and during the interview, he's got on his headband, but he's also wearing his drum gloves in the interview while sitting on his couch in his living room.
Maybe he just came from rehearsal.
Very, very weird, dude. Listen,
maybe those gloves double up as driving gloves.
I've got to show you.
I can see you right now. Hey, bro, I can see you right now, sitting on the 101 with your drum gloves on, like using them as your driving gloves. I'm a glove guy now.
I got them for one reason and one reason only. That week when you were like, look, my hands, they're like, these were all calloused, and then they blistered, and now they're blistered, calloused. They're just ridiculous. I'm not going to wear them unless I need to. And last week, if I had to play the day that I was wearing all those Band-Aids, I would have been in pain. And it would have been a time that I would have worn the gloves.
You're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to get used to. They're going to feel different.
I tried them on last night. They're definitely different. But those things on that picture I just showed you, those bumps, they're actually a grip thing. They've got air pockets here. They got air pockets here, and it's all mesh on the top.
I get it. They're probably comfortable. They probably work great, but it's going to be different than you. It's like one time we were touring one time out for like probably 2 weeks with like 2 weeks to go. And I hit the the high E string, the little tiny one, and it went right into my fingernail and gave me a hangnail like halfway down my nail. Hurt.
That sounds horrible.
Now, this is on the hand that I hold a pick, my pointer finger on the hand that I hold a pick, and I have 2 weeks of shows left, and I have a hangnail going halfway down, and so I would just put Band-Aids on it. You know what I mean? So, like, I guess it's the exact same thing as different instrument, same dilemma. I have to play, but I really can't do it without something on there.
How many times have you been on the road and it's like it goes from warm to cold, or you're in a cold climate, but then you get on a hot stage and your fingers just rip from the climate? They go in the hot stage to the cold weather. Those are the times that are the most painful for a drummer, because like it's just constant. You're constantly banging on your hands.
Well, it happens with the cold. When it gets, for me at least, when it gets cold on the corners of your fingernail, it cracks, and those hurt, dude.
Can you see that?
Yeah, those hurt.
It sucks.
I don't know. I'm not going to give you shit about. I'll give you shit about wearing gloves, but I don't really mean it.
You can give me shit when I wear them. I'm just going to have them as an insurance policy. So when I'm playing, if it's just too like painful, that I have an option to like not continue to destroy them. I don't like the feel of them. I tried them last night. Yeah. It feels like I'm wearing something on my hands. I like to feel the stick in my hands.
Say that again?
I like to feel the stick in my hands.
Say that one more time.
I like to hold the stick in my hand. Okay, I got you, huh?
See what I did there?
Where you're going.
See what
I did. I was like, get it out, Ryan. I see where you're going with this. Yeah. I'm not the guy who rolls around in tights. Speaking of which, a guy who rolls around in tights with other men. We got another one of those guys coming on later. Lavon. He'll be joining us later.
Yeah, we got a guest today, man. It's been a while. It's been a while since we had a guest.
It's
all right. Yeah. Hey, we don't have a guest. We got us, buddy.
Yeah, but we have a guest today.
We have a guest today.
There we have it. A guest today.
No pressure. I told you when we started this thing that I wanted it to be fun. I don't want it to be a burden. I don't want it to be a stress. And if you're listening, don't stress us out, man. We're not about that.
The opening rant made you tired, huh?
What about me appears tired right now? For people listening and not on the YouTubes, Johnny's giving me a weird look. He's trying to, he's trying to voodoo me.
Voodoo, baby.
He's trying to whammy.
It's voodoo lady. All right. Hey, Ryan Harris, what do you got for me today?
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got for me?
Did you see what happened? You know Flavor Flav, right? Am I saying it right? Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav.
Is it Flavor Flav or is it Flavo Flav? It's Flavor Flav, right? Flavor Flav. Anyways, he was driving from Vegas to L.A. He's okay, but a boulder fell off the overpass or whatever and hit his car. So he's driving along the highway, and a boulder hits his car.
Think about this.
And now, if you know me, one of my biggest fears is just like out of my control. Something, boom, happen. Like.
Can I tell you something? You know why this guy's stoked? Let me give you the positive on this.
Yeah. Why?
Right, what are the odds?
You're going to get all litigious.
Yeah. What are the odds? What are the... Now I'm sounding like you imitating me. What are the odds?
Yeah, leave that up to me, bud.
What are the odds of driving down the street and getting hit by a boulder falling out of the sky? Right? Hold on.
Right.
Very unlikely. What are the odds of becoming a rock star? Very unlikely. This guy has done both.
It's interesting. That's a good
life.
point. That's a good point. No, but here's something. Here's something if you think about it. It's never happened. I've never seen it. But everyone's driven on the road and seen a falling rock sign.
Yeah. I never thought they really fell.
If you see that sign, yeah, exactly. If you see that sign, that means that happened to somebody. Or a close call happened to somebody. Look at this, dude. Watch. When you see those signs, it's because of stuff like this. Just chilling. No big deal. Boom!
What the fuck? Oh my God.
Now they'll do it in slow motion. So you're just driving. You can't even, there's no way to predict it.
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my God. Could you imagine? That would freak me the fuck out, dude.
Right?
This is why you need a dash cam. You got to try explaining that to the insurance company.
Watch this one.
What's this one?
First of all, why is there an animal? Look. wait.
Whoa.
Look, there's an animal.
Yeah, there's just a fucking cow walking across the street.
Cow on the road. But
oh my God.
Like,
did that person live?
I hope. Well,
yeah. There's the driver's side door. It doesn't look like.
Their doors. But look at that, even more.
The cow.
The cow on the road.
Yeah. He hit stop for a second. Hit stop for a second. Because I want to go back and watch this video with the cow. But I want us to name the cow. What's the cow's name? Let's give a name to the cow.
Bad luck.
It's a black cow, too. It's like a black cat walking across
black
the park.
cat and black cow.
Black cow. Bad luck, black
Seriously,
cow.
though, dude. Like, that's what happened to him. Like, he's driving along. Well, that's not sexy, and I know it isn't exactly what I was pulling up. But Flavor Flav nearly crushed after boulder strikes car. And then, look at his car. Like, it hit him.
He wasn't nearly killed. It hit the corner. His door can still open, and he's fine. But I still think the odds of him getting hit by a boulder and the odds of becoming a rock star, it's like getting hit by a boulder is like getting hit by lightning. Think about it. Seriously. Think about the odds. What are the odds of a boulder falling from one of those signs, hitting you while you're cruising down the street? And what are the odds of getting hit by lightning?
Maybe I'm freaking myself out because I feel like they're not as slim as...
Well, you do live in the Allegheny Mountain range where there's a lot of signs that say falling boulder.
Falling rock. So, like, what can you do? There's no way that they can prevent... You build a road. You're not going to, like, prevent the Earth from being the Earth. Earth's going to Earth.
No, I mean, like, okay, so, like, let me ask you something. If that happens, your insurance company, are you on the hook for that? Or is that natural disaster?
I mean, I would consider that natural.
I mean, it has to.
I mean, If you're
It's a
driving
fucking
in
rock.
If you're driving and a rock hits your car, it's like my concern is like, do I have the wherewithal to maintain control of the car? That could have flipped his car. So easy, dude. Dude,
What's that?
I'm coming out of the gas station the other day. Didn't even intend on bringing this up. And a car doesn't cut me off, but like kind of took the initiative to go in front of me, you know? So I was just like, I wasn't in a hurry. It's like, all right, go ahead, whatever. They pull up to the street, about to go out onto the street, but they're kind of like didn't pull up the whole way. I hope I'm describing this well. And I'm behind.
Are you pulling out of someplace? The person in
I'm
front of you
pulling-
is pulling out, but they're not all the way out, but they're kind of out, so they're kind of obstructing traffic.
I'm pulling out of a gas station, and the other, and this truck was pulling out. If you go to the YouTubes, you could see my hand model demonstration. I'm pulling out of the gas station, and this truck goes like this and kind of cuts me off. But I was going slow, and it was nothing bad. So I was like, go ahead. So we're at the intersection, kind of like this. I'm trying to pull out onto the street. They're sort of blocking me. Now, I was a nice guy and let you go in front of me. This person decides to sit there. And as I'm waiting for them to pull out onto the road, I see that she's texting. It's like, so when you cut me off, she wasn't even paying any attention to it. You know, this all goes back to when I hit the brakes to make a turn. I look in my rearview mirror so someone doesn't hit me, you know? So
Have you ever? Yeah.
so I go, my story's not done yet. So I go, well, I'm not going to wait for you to finish your text message. So I pull in front and I go out onto the road. And as I'm pulling out onto the road, this person decides to honk at me.
The
I guess she
audacity.
put her phone down, you know, so she had a hand free to honk at me. Asshole.
You should. Yeah, you smile and wave like hi.
I didn't say anything. I don't even care.
Have you ever? This one gets me. When you see cops breaking the rules, I've seen cops texting and driving. I've seen cops holding their phones and driving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that's me, you pull me over. If that's me, you pull me over.
Yeah, I agree. Still can't do it though. Hey,
Well, yeah.
I'm going to spring something on you because I thought of this randomly. Here's what happened. A while back, there was a video that I wanted to show you, okay? I forgot, as I do. And then yesterday, I'm on Instagram, and I see a funny video, and I'm like, oh, I should share that to Johnny because it's funny. But it made me think of this original video that I wanted to show you because I'm going to pull them both up, and you tell me which you're more impressed by, okay?
Okay.
Video number 1 is Tom Brady.
Okay. Tom Brady, for those who may be in another country, I'm sure you've heard of him, but in the event you haven't, he's probably the best American football quarterback that ever played.
Yeah. And
Still playing at
he's
45 years old.
He's throwing a football into those, you know, the wheels that spin to throw a football to a receiver. It's like these two wheels, they spin and it spits out.
The receivers,
It's like if you're at a batting
Batting
cage
machine.
for baseball.
Yeah.
The machine throws the ball at you. Well, this throws a football to football players. Well,
and I'd
Tom
imagine
Brady,
if you play soccer and you're a goalie, they probably have one for the soccer ball to shoot at the goalie.
Yeah, probably. Shut up. So
Well.
Tom Brady is throwing the football into this device, which then catches it and
Whoa.
throws it back. How cool is that?
That's crazy.
And he does it twice.
Get it there.
And then he backs up, and does it a third time, knocks the machine over.
Let's go.
It's pretty damn impressive. What's the other
So
video?
I wanted to bring that up because I just thought it was cool. But then yesterday I saw this and I was like, oh, dude, that's the Tom Brady move.
Whoa, what was that?
So the guy has a slingshot and he gets a Nerf laser with his slingshot, and his buddies across
like
the
a
room.
Nerf laser, it's something you
Like
shoot.
one of those little Nerf things that you shoot out of a gun, and he drills him right in the butthole.
Wow. Wow. That's more impressive. That is more impressive. I wonder how many views that got on TikTok. Have you been on
I know,
TikTok?
right?
I've never been on TikTok. Like that's this thing. Like I'm so behind.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty
I've
fun.
never been. Do you have a TikTok account? Does Whatever Buddy podcast have a TikTok? We should have a TikTok account.
I started one. Yeah.
And it should be me going, we should have a TikTok account.
We should have a TikTok account.
Whatever Buddy
Dr. Emmett
podcast
Brown.
needs a TikTok account. Like that.
1.21 gigawatts. You look like Doc Brown today.
No, this is stock. Let me really get it going.
Do me a favor, Johnny. Go, a bolt of lightning.
A bolt of lightning.
1.21 gigawatts. Was it 21 gigawatts?
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, close enough. Close enough.
Man, if I could have fucking lived in the 80s with this hair.
Go, great Scots.
Great Scott.
That's all I got,
My
buddy.
nose
all I
is
got.
protruding out of the hair.
It's a look.
Hey, should we bring
It's
in
a
our
look.
guest? Should we bring in the guest?
Yeah, let's do that.
Hey,
Let's do that.
just so today,
got a guest today.
We got a guest today, LeVon Webb. LeVon Webb is the old singer of the Knives. He is a producer on The Masked Singer. He is a Muay Thai instructor. Ryan Harris's favorite part of this whole thing.
Love that.
Love
Set
that.
dresser?
He's a set
Set
dresser
for the movies?
for the movies. He and a prop master, I guess. He'd be like props. They call them prop masters. Whatever the case is, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, LeVon Webb.
This guy.
This fucking guy.
Dude, that looks great. What's up, man? I'm Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, Lavon.
Nice to meet you, dude. I've heard a lot of good about you.
Thanks, man.
I got to say this. I'm
This
having
guy
a
knows.
crazy
See,
hair day.
this guy comes prepared. It's like your
Right.
background looks good. I edit this, so I appreciate that. You know,
Sure, of course. It's all about production
coming in
value.
hot.
This is the tale of two heads. One with nice hair and one with fucked up hair. That's what's going on here.
Dude, you're giving Howard Stern a run for his money.
That's awesome. So, everybody, this is LeVon. LeVon, first, let me just say, dude, on a serious note, it is nice to see you. It's been a while. It always is a while in between our visits. We always meet in weird ways during pandemics at the Rainbow or on the Zoom or something along the lines.
It's nice to see you with the actual official microphone. You
Yeah.
guys both have real podcasty things going on, which is amazing.
When we started this, Johnny bought his first microphone, and he was like, "You mean I gotta spend $50 on a microphone?" And then it was like, I mean, it was a cheap microphone, whatever. And so it went from that to him being like research and be like, "Dude, what about this one? What about this one?" And he bought a new MacBook. I'm like, dude, our little guy's come a long way.
You know how technically challenged I am, LeVon. So you can only imagine, what do you mean? What's GarageBand? R, pause, return. It's been a real challenge for me.
we were boomers before boomer terms even existed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally. So for those, let me give a little story on how I met LeVon. So LeVon and I
Yes.
played in the Knives together for 5-6 years, I think. Yeah, 6 years maybe.
I think it was more than that.
It was a long time. And but the way it all happened was like this. I rehearsed in the same building as these guys, and I would stand on the loading dock and listen to this band play and not know where it was coming from, what room it was in, or who the people in the band were. And I thought, wow, I love this song. And it was Cotton Candy. That was the song, you guys. I'd always fucking love that song. So one day I'm at the Dragonfly, and some chick comes up to me.
A bar
and she
in
gives
Hollywood.
me the bar in Hollywood on Santa
My
Monica.
mom
Boulevard.
doesn't know what the Dragonfly. Tell my mom what the Dragonfly is, Johnny.
The Dragonfly is the epitome of what you would think of a rock club in Hollywood. And
There
it's
you go.
right in the heart of Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard. So this girl gives me a flyer to a show while at the Dragonfly. I was like, oh, wow. She was a hot chick or whatever. So I was like, I'll go to the show. So I go to this show. I see her get in the car. This is the funny thing. I don't know if I've ever told LeVon this, but I see her get in the car with this like heavier set guy. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no fucking way that's her boyfriend, right? It was Brain. So it turned out it was the guitar player of the night. So she was, I go to this show. It's at the Cat Club. And I was like, oh my God, this is the band that I saw.
I thought you said it was at the Dragonfly.
No, I got the flyer for the gig at the Dragonfly, and I got a flyer for the Cat Club. I go and see him at the Cat Club. I'm like, oh wow, this is the band I'm always listening to. Enough, okay, that chick was hot and
so
all,
just
but
random.
It was random. Now I want to get in the band. So I originally went there because this girl gave me a flyer and I thought the chick was hot. Then I saw the band play. I'm like, well, the hell with the chick. I need to get into this band. I remember the drummer was playing on the stage and there was a weird space behind the stage and he actually fell off. Steven fell off of the back of the stage while he was playing. It was like, there was like a little space down there. He didn't fall off and fall all the way down because he fell into the wall because there was like a wall there, but there was a space. To make a long story short, I'd go up and see them at the rehearsal room. And I don't know if LeVon, you remember this. I thought of this the other day. First time I ever jammed with these guys, their drummer didn't show up. Colin didn't show up that night. And they were called the LA Exiles at this point in time, which I also thought was a very cool name of a band.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
I sat down and jammed with these guys, a song I never heard. And we were able to play a song from top to bottom like we'd been playing together for forever. And I remember LeVon called me the next day. He was like, dude, I don't know what happened last night, but that was cool. But we got a drummer. I'll keep you in mind if something happens.
I didn't even remember any of this.
Yeah, totally. So as time goes on, I go up there one day to the rehearsal room, and there's no drummer, and there's no girl in the band, and now it's just LeVon and Brain. And LeVon says, I'm going to be the singer of the band now. We got rid of the other guys. And I remember thinking to myself, boy, that was a dumb idea. But
wait, what were you before then?
I was the bass player.
He was the bass player.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I forgot. I left that big part out.
We lost the draw with the hot chick.
Yeah. So inner turmoil went on there. So I find out. I later find out at the time I had dreadlocks, and I later found out that like Brain, the guitar player, didn't want me in the band. Had something to do with the fact that I had dreadlocks or something. Like, because I remember being annoyed that there was another drummer there, and I called LeVon, kind of pissed, like, "What's up, dude? You got a drummer? I thought you were going to call me." Blah blah blah. And he's like,
"I'm not mad. I'm annoyed."
Right. And he's like,
totally. That's such a Johnny line.
Totally. It's totally it. That's funny. You guys got me off my guard, off my game.
Someone's got to slow you down. Shit, man.
So LeVon says,
you put one of those you put one of those espresso shots in your coffee today, man.
I did. I just did.
It's all good.
Well, the best part is that Johnny could tell you the date of this conversation and what the weather was like outside.
I guarantee he could. What day was it, Johnny?
Well, I would have to say, if I was to be honest, because I know that the first gig I did with them was July 6, 2003. And three. I joined the band 2 weeks prior to that, so I'd have to say it was roughly around June 25th, June 26th.
I believe it was a Wednesday. When I
a
little bit
joined
overcast
the band,
in the morning.
Which was about a month after this conversation where I was annoyed at the fact that they had this drummer. So remember, I was told that the dreadlocks were a downfall for me. So I knock on the door one day to see who this drummer is. And I open the door, and this fucking drummer, not only is he like, a heavier set guy, he's a heavier set guy with dreadlocks. And I'm like, I was told that I wasn't allowed to play in this band because I had dreadlocks. And now they got a fat guy with dreadlocks playing in this band. I don't understand what's going on.
And the guy was a hippie that lived in his van.
Yeah, and he ended up leaving in the middle of the night. And that's how I know when I joined the band, because he ended up leaving in the middle of the night, and they called me kind of in a panic, can you learn these songs? And then I tried out, and after the second song I auditioned on, they let me in the band, and then we did our first gig, and we had 6 songs, and we played the same 6 songs for like 6 months, like 5-6 times a month. That's how we met. So there's a story. But since then, since we've been in a band, from my understanding, LeVon is a Muay Thai teacher, instructor. What's cool about this is, and you two are both into mixed martial arts. That's the thing behind me. You guys rolling around with other men, half naked, sweating and shit. That's cool. I can. Get
I love
down
it so
with
much. The martial arts, not the rolling around with men part.
I love the rolling around with the men part, but the fact that
Johnny thinks because he sees MMA on TV, he thinks when you go to the gym that you're naked in your underwear, like.
Yeah.
Is he wrong? Because I don't know. The gym I go to is like that.
Yeah, well, he's not wrong. I was like, I wear shorts and a t-shirt, man.
Here's the craziest thing that sucks about the knives. We were right before the YouTube thing. So you can almost find no YouTube stuff of us. I don't know where all the footage is because I know we've documented everything. But I have like one European tour worth of footage, and that's about it.
I have all of it, and it just needs to be digitized, and someone needs to sit down there and take the time to start putting some clips on YouTube.
Dude, I'll do it.
And it's
I'll
on.
do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Well, we're gonna have to fly to Hawaii together and go through my garage.
That sounds amazing.
I've never been
Can
to
I
Hawaii.
come?
He's been invited.
Yes. Let's go. We'll take a field trip.
We'll do Muay Thai.
Yeah, I have a gym.
You have your own Muay Thai gym there?
Yeah, I have my own Muay Thai gym at my house in Hawaii.
That's awesome.
We got to rewind because we were talking about this yesterday when we were doing some preparation. Let's rewind. I want to talk about. So we got the knives thing out. That's how we met. But you told me something when we were together for your birthday this year about how it's you work in set dressing for most of your working day job, adult life stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you told me how difficult it is to switch over to the other side where you've become a producer on television shows and how like it just doesn't happen. And that like, it's like this really unlikely thing to happen. So what intrigues me and what I'd love to find out is A, tell us a little bit about where you came from with that stuff. But B, how did you make the change in such an unlikely kind of way?
Okay. Well, so back in the 90s, just out of high school, I had a family friend who got me in the business. I was dicking around in Huntington Beach, getting arrested for stuff and just, stupid, aimless, working at like a coffee shop or whatever.
But you went to high school in Hawaii though, too, right?
Yeah. I went to high school in Hawaii and I graduated from high school and I was born in California. My dad was in LA, like, I had roots here. So I came right back here, but I ended up in Huntington Beach because there was a lot of people from Huntington Beach and, in Hawaii, they would go back and forth and whatever. So I ended up over there and she called me up and she was like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you just call me right away? She's like, show up, downtown LA, 5 a.m. You're going to work as a set dresser. And I was like, what is that? She's like, you're just going to like do stuff, make sets. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So at 5 a.m, I showed up in downtown LA, which at the time was like a war zone.
Like scary as shit.
So scary. And we were at the Barclay Hotel, which they had rented. This is a tenement hourly motel shooting gallery where people just basically rent a hotel room for an hour and shoot heroin in it. And we rented 3 floors and all
Sounds like a good time.
Oh yeah, dude, it was insane. And the like homeless people were mad and they set people's cars on fire and they threw shit out the windows at us and it was gnarly. And so basically my job was to go around downtown LA with a truck and find garbage that we could use as set dressing because they had no money.
You're like that guy who just threw shit at me. Let's grab him. He looks like a piece of
We could use that.
Yeah.
That sounds sketchy.
It was so sketchy. We were like pulling apart people's homeless camps, like taking their stuff and using it as set dressing.
Oh man, that's brutal.
What was the set? What was the show?
It was all kinds of stuff. We were doing like alleys or like we were doing like a trashed hotel room and then like they would get transported into, another dimension and we would turn like one of the hotel rooms into a space station and just like spray paint everything silver and it was gnarly. If we could find that movie.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of that movie?
I think it was called The Outsider or something like that. They called it The Outsider because obviously The Outsiders had already been made.
Right, and now there's a TV show on HBO called The Outsider, which is a fucking mind fuck.
Yeah. Turns out they never had the money to like really like, go after anybody for copyright stuff.
Right.
So long story short, there was a lot of that kind of low budget stuff going on in the 90s. And I started doing that and I made like $150 a day. And I thought I was rich.
That's a lot of money back in the 90s. If I would have made that as a waiter, I'd be like, oh my God.
I've made it. I've arrived.
Yeah, totally.
So I did that. And then I worked on this little movie that some people have heard of, some haven't, called American History X. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I got
great movie.
Yeah, that was a very insane. That was
Edward Norton. Yeah.
Ed Norton, Ed Furlong, Skinheads in Venice Beach. Really controversial, movie at the time. And I got hired because they were like, hey, will you shave your head and kind of go around and try to find real, skinhead stuff. And I was like,
dude,
okay.
These people are throwing you to the wolves.
Yeah. Totally like unregulated,
Yeah.
And then that movie got flipped, which means that the union, they had for a while they were able to shoot it as a low budget independent movie, but really they had backing from Miramax or New Line or one of those. And so once they start having SAG actors come on the show, then the unions step in and they make the show flip. And so everybody gets their union days. So by 18 years old, I got in the union, which I was like one of the youngest members at the time.
That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah. Really hard to get in the union.
Really hard to get in the union, especially at that time. Like there was, it was really hard up until the mid 90s. And then when they started doing all those disaster movies, they started having to pull in all kinds of like real carpenters and real welders and things like that. Because they just didn't have enough people to work on those big budget movies at the time. So then I got introduced to like this, this kind of rigmarole of set dresser / props, because you can do both. Set dresser prop guys that were all musicians, and they use that business to basically be able to support their musician habit. And so I met all these guys that were in bands that all would, work for 6 months out of the year and then go on tour for the rest. And it didn't matter if he didn't make money on tour. He had medical insurance. He had all this great stuff. But then as I got, farther along, my whole intention the entire time was to be a filmmaker, to be a director, to be a screenwriter, like to basically do everything, which they consider above the line. Not just like set dressing and props, but like I wanted to actually, to make and produce content. And so, when we were in the Knives, it supported me as a musician. And then after the Knives was over and I started having kids and growing up and the whole thing, I started to kind of focus back on, writing and producing. And so I would basically take, ideas that I had, and like in moonlight, like try and develop stuff with people that I knew, in the business, and a lot of people that are, set dresser props people, they do the same thing. They'll write scripts, they'll come up with ideas, and try to kind of like do something more, as well. And so, but in the business, like not a lot of people actually make that jump. So for my story, everybody that knew me, everybody that I worked with always knew that I was always up to like, something else, like he's got the band going or he's, writing this thing or doing that thing. And so we had a very close friend of my wife and also myself that she was a reality show producer. And so anytime we would hang out, I would always come up with like these crazy reality show ideas and I'd always bounce them off her. And we ended up, over time developing this relationship where we decided to start trying to develop projects together. And throughout the years, we'd come up with something. We actually went and shot a couple of things, do these things called sizzle reels where you try to like make like a sample of like what it is that you would see and pitch it. And we had come up with this show idea for this MMA gym I used to work out at that the couple that ran the gym, one half of the gym was for MMA for the husband's side, and the wife's side was pole dancing. I was like, this is a perfect reality show. Done.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Right. Yeah, so, and then it turned out that they had a polyamorous relationship on top of it. And so we shot this sizzle reel, and it was like, just totally insane. And we took it around and shopped it, and we got, quite a lot of attention. And then Showtime stepped in and swooped in and stole them away from us, basically. And they ended up being cast members on that show, Polyamory, on Showtime. So we were close, we were close. And like, that's just kind of the nature of that.
Did that discourage you because that happened, or on the flip side, was it like, oh, we were that close, like we had a good idea, okay, we're getting closer to like something that's gonna work?
I think it was a little bit of both. It was like, okay, cool, we were close, and it was also discouraging, and it created kind of a gap where it's like, okay, I got to go back and I got to keep set dressing, I got to keep doing props, and like it just became this thing. It's like, well, at least I have that to fall back on,
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, go back to the drawing board.
What was the move from like, okay, this is what life may look like for me now, to where you are today?
Well, we came back. I was trying to do set dressing and props in Hawaii. So we were just trying to do whatever.
Filming in Hawaii? Like filming?
Yeah, there? Yeah. So projects that came to Hawaii, I was trying to use my...
Do a lot of them go there?
Yeah, there's a lot of production in Hawaii. In fact, I was working on the show Magnum PI.
Cool.
And,
cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. It was fun. It was I knew a lot of the people that were on the
show. Did they
show.
use a new Ferrari in this recent, or did they use the old school one?
They used the new one, and then every once in a while there'd be an appearance from the old one, and So I was doing that whole thing, and then we ended up coming back to LA because the work over there, there was work in Hawaii, but at the time it was like hit or miss. You go long stretches where, I'd end up having to go back to LA myself just to kind of supplement. So we eventually just decided to relocate, back to LA and bring the whole family. And I started working with that, my producing partner again, trying to just kind of slowly get back in to developing with her. So, just fully ready to get engaged in that again. And she ended up getting a job on a Nickelodeon show. And so as a showrunner, so basically like she does the hiring. So at the same time we were working together in development, she was working to certain capacities as a producer on other shows. And then she got this break herself, where she could actually bring me in on like the base level as an associate producer, which was huge. I mean, that's like, so it is really all about who It's just like Bob Evans put, it's success is when luck meets preparation. And
preparation plus opportunity equals success.
Thank you. Oh, Johnny.
And we used to have that hanging over the door at the Knives rehearsal room.
One of my favorite quotes, because it's so true.
So she hires you as an associate producer on a Nickelodeon show that she was showrunner for.
Well, yeah. And so what happened was initially she had to shoot the pilot, and she wasn't able to bring me on for the pilot. But I came in and helped with some of the writing, kind of like in the shadows, like she would call me up and be like, I need this, I need some help with this idea or that idea. And so I just did it, with the incentive of like, if this thing gets picked up, then I will get to come in. So of course, I did everything I could to contribute as much as possible. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, the good old pandemic is back.
Good old pandemic. Good old 2020.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where my break really came, was during the pandemic. Nickelodeon decided that we would be their first show that they were going to develop remotely and then shoot following the COVID protocols. And so that was it. That was how I got my shot. And she basically called me. I was in Hawaii. We were like waiting out the pandemic. And she was like, hey, do you want to start this thing remotely? It just means you're going to have to get up at 4 a.m. because of the time difference, and start helping develop the show. And I was like, hell yeah, I just won't even sleep. Like, whatever, let's do this.
I'll just stay up. It's all good.
Yeah, just stay up and work. I mean, that's really what I did. And I turned my Muay Thai gym into my little Zoom studio, and
cool.
And it was my production office, and we started there, and we developed this show, and Zoom meetings and the whole deal, and then we shot it a couple of months later, and in LA, following the COVID protocols, and we had the two hardest things you could possibly have to work with: animals and kids.
Wow. Yeah.
COVID. And they didn't
COVID.
They didn't want to see any masks. We were acting like COVID wasn't happening.
Jeez.
Which was
no
amazing.
big deal. Can you say the name of the show? Is the show out yet, or is it?
Yeah, the show's out. Yeah, so the show that I was working on is called Unleashed. It was for Nickelodeon. Gabriel Iglesias, a great comedian, was a host of that.
Fluffy, right?
Yeah, so that was great. So that was my start, and then I since then, I just I quickly worked up the ranks. Partly due to having my connection. My friend was able to kind of share my resume with other people, and then two, it turns out that in producing, my set dressing and props experience really came into play. Already knowing how a set is run, and how production is run, and I mean, being in that element all the time, I was already as familiar as with
when you got the opportunity, instead of learning as you go, you're like, well, I've seen this. I could do this.
Totally.
I do want to finish up. Well, no, I just want to finish up because I feel like we jumped off base, because I want to know how we got to The Masked Singer, because you work on that show.
Oh, cool.
I think is pretty cool, because I've only seen the billboards, but I've seen the billboards. I've never seen the show, but I've heard of it, and that says a lot because I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Well, thank you, billboards.
Yes.
Helps us advertise to people that don't watch TV.
Yes.
So Masked Singer. So the segment producer that I was working with on the Unleashed show had called me kind of out of the blue and was like, hey, and again, it was pandemic related. He was not very comfortable with how, they were following protocols, but at the time, the pandemic was getting pretty out of control again, right. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, would you be interested in covering for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Not even thinking about my own safety or my
that instinctual answer. It's like opportunity. Yeah, go.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I ended up catching COVID, by going to the UK in August. But that's all.
Right. It's all risk management.
Yeah.
Yes.
Risk versus opportunity.
Risk versus reward.
And this is pre-vaccine, so I guess it's a risk. Sorry, I got the sun. The sun might be doing funky things here. Anyway, so I had to interview with them, and
what was the guy's job that he wanted you to do?
It was also segment producing. So basically, a segment producer, you are producing the content that's in between. So for competition shows, you have the actual stage show, and then you have all of the connective tissue in between, which they refer to as BTS, right? Behind the scenes segments, which is if you have, for instance, with Masked Singer.
I would think you were talking the medical field if I didn't know what we were talking about. Just saying.
You've seen reality TV, dude. They go.
I know, but the terms he's using
on the person.
He's like, I cut the heart out. The
aorta, lobby, and
So you have three different things that you're talking about when you're a segment producer, right? You have BTS, which is behind the scenes footage, right? That's just the goings on of everything on the other side of the stage. Then you have bumpers, which are like these little pieces, little moments that you have that are either just before a commercial or just after a commercial. And then you have segments. And so a segment is similar to like a news program, right? When they're doing a story and you have the two talking heads telling you the news and they're like, and now we're going to do this piece on blah, 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 Joe Schmo and the riot at the newspaper plant. And then they go to that segment, right? That's a field crew that goes out and they shoot that. So a segment producer would be in charge of that field crew going out and getting all the footage to be able to provide that segment for the show. So for Masked Singer, they have these things called clue packages where basically every time they introduce a singer or just before their performance, they have this it's like a short film. And that little film, that little piece of footage has clues in it for both the audience and the panel to figure out who they are. So we're basically, my job was to be a clue package producer. And so a lot of that involves props and set dressing, because a lot of times the clues would be physical props or set pieces. And so there I found myself drawing on that experience as a set dresser and a prop guy, because I could communicate, one, what we needed to that department, and then also, two, make sure that those items were there for the day of shooting.
Do you remember the one time, actually it was a few times, back in the days of the Knives, we would be home on tour, I would need money, and you would work for this interior designer who only hired set dressers to fucking dress her houses. And we worked in Elizabeth Shue's house, I remember. Yeah,
on Abbot Kinney, which I think is still in there.
I think about it all the time. If I'm on Abbot Kinney, I'm like, I wonder if she still lives there.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Back then, that Abbot Kinney was still fucked up. And we were like, oh, wow, Abbot Kinney.
I think it was just when they were just starting to revamp it. Yeah.
Can you imagine how much money that flat is worth now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's so funny. I remember that. It was me and Johnny doing the
You're like, whatever you do, just don't break anything. I'm like, all right, I won't break anything. Yeah. And I was there with all dudes who knew what they were doing, but I didn't.
Johnny's like, all I could think about is Elizabeth Shue's bathrooms over there, and that's where she shits.
Remember all the family photos that we had to frame and put on that wall?
Yeah. Remember I held her bra in the fucking in the closet?
Oh, this is even weirder. David Guggenheim, her husband, was the executive producer on Magnum PI.
Interesting.
And I never saw him. He never came to Hawaii.
Interesting. Would you have been like, dude, I decorated your house back in the day?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, sure wouldn't.
This will be fun. Hey, Ryan, do you want to explain our game to LeVon?
Sure. So we do this thing where we're going to throw a topic at you, and we want to hear the first thing that comes to your mind. Simple, quick reaction.
Okay.
I'll start first. No thinking. Just, you got to go. Favorite memory of the Knives, go.
When we played in Sweden. Awesome. All those kids, the screaming like we were the Beatles.
That was August 6, 2006.
Amazing.
Date man. Yeah. The guy with the dates. Hawaii versus California. Go.
Ooh. Like as in like which one I would pick?
Yes.
California.
Why?
Land of opportunity. It's two totally different vibes. And if you try to bring California to Hawaii, you're going to fail.
I got a question. This is actually what I'm most interested in hearing your answer to. What's your favorite Masked Singer costume?
Oh, God. Chameleon.
Okay. The costumes are awesome. Like
the costumes are insane.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Chameleon. Oh, wow. Look at that costume. That costume's badass. Looks like
that costume was insane. He had this like long tongue with sequins all over it too.
Wow.
And it was like, no matter what we shot, the costume made it look amazing.
Okay. Yeah. I'll share it. Look at that. Did it light up?
That's cool, dude.
Well, they did a blacklight version and we did a pack. They call it a package with him in this black light costume, and it just looked insane. He was like walking through a black light jungle. Really cool.
From like artistic design, whatever point of view you want to call it, like that show stands out to me as like just fun to look at, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick, somebody give me a quick premise. Somebody sings and you're trying to guess who the singer is.
Yeah. So they compete. It's celebrities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Musicians, celebrities in costume, right? You don't know who that person is. They come in. I mean, the basic idea is they come in groups. They compete on the show, and then at the end of the show, the audience votes one person to be unmasked.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Awesome. Great. Right. Hey, LeVon, thank you so much for coming on today, dude. Like,
No, I had such a great time, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
man, I
guys.
enjoyed talking to you.
Awesome.
I'm glad to get to know you. Good to meet you.
when Ryan gets back into town, we'll all have to go to the Rainbow and fucking have some dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta go get a reservation there at what we thought was our table.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. LeVon, have a great day, man. I'll talk to you soon. We'll get together for sure.
For sure.
Awesome.
All right, you guys.
Thank
Later,
you,
brother.
See you soon, man.
Oh,
Bye.
maybe I'll do that. There you go.
See you, brother.
Later, dude.
All right, see you guys.
See ya. Ryan, that was great to have LeVon on. We haven't had a guest in a long time, and what a great guest we have had. LeVon, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody else, thank you for listening again here on the Whatever Buddy podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe at all your normal places. Go to whateverbuddy.com. Say hello on the YouTubes if you want. Until next week, everybody, have a great week, and we will see you next time on the Whatever Buddy podcast.
See you next time.